Hi, this is Paul at School Bus Talk. One of the reasons that I'm a school bus driver is I like summer vacation. I like to go out on RV trips and drive around the great American West. It's kind of funny. I drive for a vocation, and then when I go on vacation, I drive some more. On this trip, we're going to the Canadian Rockies. So join us. This is School Bus Talk. Our wonder dog, Rosie.
You know, that's a wonderful dog you have there.
Oh, thanks. He's quite a dog. Practically a member of the force.
As we travel to see Alberta and British Columbia. So it's a long way from where we live in Northern California to Alberta in Canada. And when we travel in our RV, we take our time and stop along the way. Past couple days though, we have done about 550 miles driving out across Nevada. I'm here in Idaho, near Twin Falls, Idaho, and we're going to drive up into the Rockies, the American Rockies in Idaho and Montana now, and make our way towards the Canadian border. We've traveled in our RV around a lot of the USA, but this is the first time we've ever gone international and driven into Canada. We have all our paperwork, our passports, and we have the vaccination paperwork from the veterinarian to show the Canadian authorities when we cross the border. But I'm a little nervous. We have all kinds of reservations and campsites set up in Canada for when we visit the big national park in Banff and Jasper. And if we don't get across the border, well, then all those plans kind of go out the window. So we're nervous about getting across the border safely. We made it up into the Rocky Mountains yesterday after traveling up through Sun Valley, Idaho, and drove over Galena Pass, which is about almost 9,000 feet in elevation. It's a gnarly drive over Galena Pass. Once you get up over Galena Pass, you get into the heart of the Sawtooth Range and Sawtooth Basin. This is Stanley, Idaho, and geographically, Stanley, Idaho is about the center of the state. It's so beautiful here. We came into a really nice campground here, so we decided we're just going to spend 2 nights here and relax before moving on towards the Canadian frontier. We've been traveling north on US Highway 93 up through some beautiful country. We're now in Montana, getting closer to the Canadian border. We've gone through some really beautiful landscapes and gone to some terrific attractions. We're camped right now at a peaceful state park near Flathead Lake, Montana, about 100 miles from the Canadian frontier. We're planning to spend a layover day here, just sleeping and relaxing before crossing into Canada tomorrow. I'm still a little nervous about the border crossing. We've met a number of other travelers that have recently crossed the border, and they're saying it hasn't been a problem for them, but I'm still anxious about it. So we're in Eureka, Montana, about 10 miles from the port of entry into Canada in Roosevelt. So we are getting some fuel and topping off with diesel, and then we'll be at the border crossing station, and we'll let you know how things go when we get there. I'm kind of nervous and a little bit uptight.
Calm down.
Well, thanks for those kind words, but still doesn't make it any easier. We made it across the border. I'm so relieved. So what's the first question you ask yourself when you cross the border into Canada from the USA?
Do you happen to know the current exchange rate?
No, but that's a good guess. Instead, where can you buy beer? So within about 5 miles of crossing the border, we found this funny little liquor store in Jasper, British Columbia, and found this beer, Kootenay Ale. It's a label we don't have in the USA, and that's good. Well, let the vacation continue. All right, we've traveled 1,400 miles and we are going into Banff Canadian National Park on our way to Radium Hot Springs, which is, well, it's a Canadian national treasure. We're going to go have a soak in a natural hot springs and look at this road. So this is Radium Hot Springs in Banff National Park, Canada, and this is what we travel for. Now, we've been to a few hot spring spots on this trip. Natsupa in Idaho Falls, Chalice Hot Springs in Chalice, Idaho, Fairmont Hot Springs in Fairmont Springs, BC, but this is the absolute best spot for hot springs and soaking of the entire trip. Worth driving 8 days, 1,400 miles from our home in Northern California. Wow, that's all I can say. This place is fantastic. Okay, well, we just had a great soak at Radium Hot Springs, and now we're still on Highway 93, but we're going to drive up over the Continental Divide into the Icefield Parkway area, and this highway is curvy, and I'm driving really carefully because this is not easy driving. Yikes. Wow, That was a stressful drive. White knuckle all the way over the Continental Divide. But we're here. This is Banff. Beautiful view everywhere you look. Spectacular mountain ranges. We are so lucky to be able to be here. We've had 3 terrific days here in Banff National Park, Alberta, Canada. But it's time to move on down the road. We're going to head north again on Highway 93 and spend a day in Lake Louise. Banff National Park. Well, what can I say? I've been to most of the national parks in the USA, and Banff really doesn't compare to any of them. It's kind of like, it's got the peaks and rugged mountains like Grand Tetons, but the vastness and the hugeness of the Grand Canyon all kind of mixed into one. And the village of Banff itself is kind of the most quaint, cute little town you'd ever see. The Canadians really have built a cute little town that's a showcase of everything that's great to be Canadian. I can see why it's an international destination for tourists and visitors from all over the world. Breaking news interrupting this video. Yesterday, after departing Banff and the Johnston Canyon trail hike, we returned to the RV. I took the dog out, Rosie, so she could make water and take a break. Walked out in the woods, tripped over an old stump, fell, and cut my hand open. I have a 2-inch laceration on my left hand below my thumb. We went to the Mineral Springs Hospital in Banff, where I received excellent care and treatment by the doctors and nurses there. Sewed me up, 5 stitches. Let the vacation continue. On day 14, we visited Lake Louise and Lake Moraine. These are iconic Canadian vistas, and you have to go and visit them
It's like going to New York City and not seeing the Statue of Liberty. But unfortunately, they're so loved that the number of people that are there is overwhelming, and Parks Canada has to limit the number of cars that can visit the site by not allowing personal vehicles into the locations anymore, and you have to take shuttle buses. Also, the Fairmont Chateau Hotel, which is another icon, is under construction. It's kind of a been there, done that type of thing. I'm glad we went, but I don't think I'd ever go back.
So we departed Lake Louise this morning and continued on Highway 93 up through the Icefields Parkway, and now we're at the Columbia Icefields in Alberta. This is Jasper National Park now. I just want to compliment Parks Canada on the terrific job they do maintaining and interpreting their parks for their visitors. This is the Columbia Icefields, and it's one of the most spectacular places that we've been to so far on this trip, or anywhere that we've ever visited in North America. I don't think there's a national park anywhere in the USA that rivals the beauty here in Western Alberta. And when you come up through the Icefields Parkway, it's just like one fantastic, spectacular landscape after another. Now, we have a tour set up. We're going to go out on the glacier on a big tractor rig and explore the ice. So that'll be the next thing we do.
Hey, Kelly, hurry up. I'm hungry.
What kind of food do you want to eat?
For some green apple pie with lots of nice, flaky crust.
We're in Jasper, Alberta, and it's super cute with a ton of restaurants to go to. But apple pie? That's the national dish of the USA. We're in Canada. The national dish here is poutine.
Well, of course.
We're checking on our cell phones, and there's so many good places to eat here in Jasper.
Well, it's hard to choose one from so many good.
Do you know anything about them?
Well, I've heard rumors.
How about this place?
Thank you. The food here is excellent.
Yummy, that's good poutine. All right, so this is day 17 of the Rocky Mountain RV adventure, and well, if you look out on the horizon, you can see there's forest fires burning throughout Western Canada, some in Alberta, but mostly British Columbia. And it's gotten really smoky and hazy. So we're going to make a big left-hand turn and say goodbye to the Rocky Mountains and head to Vancouver, British Columbia to visit friends. From Jasper, Alberta to Vancouver, BC, it's over 800 kilometers. That's like 500 miles. It's a long way. You know, British Columbia is a big place. It's in landmass, it's almost 40% bigger than Texas. So we got a long way to go. So we've decided, just because the scenery's gotten hazy, that maybe we'll leave a little bit early and head to Vancouver, and maybe we can catch some nice sea breezes and clean air. But we've had a great time here in Canada and the Canadian Rockies. But it's time to say goodbye. So we're coming through BC on Route 5, and smoke's been real thick, but you can see right up here on this mountain, that's happening all over BC. Fire on the mountain. Wow. That's why it's so smoky. That's not even a very big fire. So we have been heading south on the Yellowhead Highway, or Route 5, and we are coming into Kamloops, British Columbia, and the smoke here is the worst that we have seen anywhere in British Columbia so far, and it is really thick, and you can smell how bad it is. Yuck. So we're going to keep heading down the road, hopefully get some clean air and out of this wildfire area. Yikes. We are near Hope, British Columbia, and what we prayed for has happened. The smoke has cleared, and we're seeing cooling temperatures and coastally influenced weather. We're pressing on to Vancouver and are going to stay with some friends. We've made it to the Pacific shore. We're in the Vancouver, BC area, visiting friends and relaxing for a few days before we take the long drive down the west coast of Washington and Oregon back to where we live in Northern California. This is the Puget Sound, and we're looking out towards Victoria Island. Removing the sutures from my hand wound. It's all closed up. Looks good. We got two of the 5 out. There we go. I'm interrupting this video to bring up a real serious subject. I'm here at a friend's house in the Vancouver, BC area, and on day 17 of our RV adventure, we left Jasper National Park a day early because of smoke conditions, and within 24 hours, the wildland fire in the area just blew up. And reports from Parks Canada are a little sketchy, but it's clear that there was a lot of forest environment destroyed, animals endangered, and some of the town of Jasper was damaged and destroyed. We're just absolutely devastated. Now, we have to thank our guardian angels for leading us out of there a day early. Also, we come from Northern California where we have a lot of experience with fire, and our instincts were telling us when we saw smoke, you just leave the area. But it's just absolutely devastating, and we're saying our prayers for all our Canadian friends in Alberta, that they take comfort and recover and are resilient after this fire. We are approaching the Peace Arch border crossing, and we're on our way home. We've had a terrific time here in Canada, and we've been visiting family and friends for the past week in the Vancouver area. But it's time to go back to the USA from the border crossing at the Peace Arch. It's kind of a downhill run all the way to our home in Northern California, about 780 miles. We're going to stop and visit a few more friends and some family in the next couple of days, but I hope we come back to Canada again. We've had a great time. We'll see if it happens again.
And there'll be a next time.
All right, so here we go into U.S. Customs and back to the good old USA. We're on the final 50 miles, almost home. We've come 3,250 miles on our RV adventure to the Canadian Rockies. Thanks for joining us, and happy trails.